Karens often believe they're above facing repercussions, but what unfolds when these same self-important Karens end up in handcuffs? Here are 3 of the most jaw-dropping and gratifying moments where ruthless Karens come to terms with their arrest, starting with Sarah Boone, who was charged with the murder of her husband Jorge by trapping him inside a suitcase and abandoning him to perish. Sarah was promptly taken in for questioning to uncover whether she was truly as wicked as suspected.
So he had some injuries to his left shoulder. He had a cut near his lip. You could see his mouth was a little
I haven't laid a hand on him.
Okay. What about the scratches? Because there's also sex.
Yes.
Okay. Because there's also a scratch on the back of his neck, kind of going, but it's going straight across.
I have no idea what I'm talking about. In all honesty, we have not gotten into it. Okay. That's why, the only thing I thought you guys were going to ask me about, which I was going to be honest with you anyway, are the scratch marks on his back. Mm-hmm. Everything else, I have no idea what it is.
Yesterday, when we took photographs of your overall body, and they did the buccal swabs, did they go under your fingernails?
No.
Okay. Are you willing to let us
absolutely
swab underneath your fingernails? Go for it.
It might seem like a strange request to ask if they can collect samples from under Sarah's fingernails, but it could play a major role in figuring out how Jorge sustained those wounds. Since the injuries were recent, there's a high chance that forensic experts could discover traces of dried blood or skin cells beneath Sarah's nails, evidence that would clearly implicate her. But sadly for Sarah, investigators already had other proof that was far easier to uncover.
Do I have to watch this? I continuously throw up, I don't sleep, I don't want to see it, if that's okay.
Well, it's on your phone, and you can either explain it, or we take it for what it is.
We're just trying to give you the opportunity to tell us what's going on. That's it.
For everything you did to me. Fuck you. Fuck you. That's you. Your voice. Stupid. That's my name. Don't wear it up.
I don't want to watch it, please.
The footage captured Jorge trapped inside the suitcase, pleading to be released while Sarah mocked him from the outside. Authorities couldn't have hoped for a more damning piece of proof, especially since it was found directly on Sarah's own cell phone.
So this is upside down. So in order for him to have gotten into it,
it was flipped up.
Right. It was flipped up normal.
Yes.
As if you're packing something. So this is upside down.
Guys, this is killing me right now.
Sarah is clearly attempting to appear innocent by telling the investigators that the video upsets her, but does that honestly sound like someone watching footage of her husband's final moments? While everyone processes trauma differently, it's hard to believe her response is a single flat statement that feels more like it was said just to display a hint of sympathy to the officers.
I don't mean to sound negative, and I don't know if I can say this, but it's like you guys are kind of trying to feed me.
No, I'm just trying to show you a video that you no longer want to watch because you probably don't want to know the outcome of how and what you said.
Well, I know what.
You know what's on that video now?
No.
You remember making that video?
No.
Why don't you remember making the video?
Probably because we had been drinking.
But you weren't drunk.
Sarah is frantically attempting to justify the video, but in the process, she basically confirms it's her footage and that she abandoned him in the suitcase afterward. Considering Jorge died due to her disregard, this easily qualifies as a manslaughter charge. However, she's certainly failing to persuade the investigators that this was anything other than intentional.
What do you think is going to happen if you leave somebody in a confined space like that?
Well, I thought by not giving it up all the way, it would be okay. My plan was not to leave him in the suitcase. Waiting for him to come upstairs.
And then what do you do?
I fell asleep.
You said you were up there 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, somebody not coming up.
Knowing that the last time you saw him was in the suitcase, 30 minutes later, you're like, maybe I should go check on him? Maybe I shouldn't?
No.
But that didn't cross your mind.
That's like an assumption. That's what you all are thinking. It's the drinking.
Sarah spends nearly 2 full hours frantically attempting to sway the detectives and talk her way out of the incriminating proof they presented, but in the end, the investigators stay entirely unmoved and conclude that they've heard all they need.
Do you promise and swear that everything we talked about today has been true and accurate to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, but it was not intentional.
Okay. Okay.
All right, do me a favor, stand up,
Why is this happening?
because George is dead.
Not intentionally.
We understand that.
He's still dead.
Well, we don't
Someone
really
needs to
understand.
call Brian, please.
Okay.
Or can I not make a phone call?
You'll be able to make a phone call, and we'll get you down to the jail.
So why is this
Afforded.
happening? So this was a trick.
No, it's not
No,
a trick.
not
How
a
was it a
trick.
trick? Your response to everything was, basically, I didn't do it.
Intentionally.
Doesn't matter. It's still dead.
Sarah was indicted for second-degree murder and is now staring down a possible life sentence. At the time this video was posted, her trial is still underway. But that's nothing compared to what officers had to deal with in the case of Sean Malarkey, a 45-year-old woman taken into custody for domestic abuse after she reportedly struck her ex-husband with a vehicle. However, when the officer moves in to make the arrest, things take a turn for the worse instantly.
Ma'am, step out.
Excuse me.
Step out.
No, excuse me.
Step out.
Sure, hands off of me.
Step out of the car right now. You're under arrest.
No, I am not.
Yes, you are.
No, I am not.
Malarkey's actions are unpredictable, and her tone is hostile right from the start. Her kids are sitting in the back seat, but this doesn't appear to influence how she deals with the situation, and it only continues to escalate from
I
there.
will tase you if you don't get out of the car.
You better take your hands off of me right now.
I told you you're under arrest. Get out of the car.
Why?
Because you have a warrant.
I just sent a message and I am... Excuse me.
Get out of the car right now.
No. Did somebody say that you could come into our...
Questioning the officers about who authorized them to come onto the property is a frequent strategy in cases like this, but for the accused, the truth is that law enforcement is fully entitled to enter a property without an invitation as long as they possess a warrant. With help from a second officer, Malarkey is taken out of her vehicle and restrained. However, this is when the situation deteriorates even further.
No, I didn't say that.
Andy asked you to get out.
Excuse me?
Andy asked you to get out of the car.
No, Andy yanked me.
I yanked you because I told you you're under arrest and you refused to exit your vehicle.
Are you gonna stand up and be cooperative?
Are you gonna understand that my attorney has filed a motion to quash this? Has filed a
We're going out there
motion
this way.
to quash this.
You hit us, you do anything stupid towards us, we're any charged on. If you hit us
Excuse
or
me?
anything, let's go.
You've already hit me.
I didn't hit you. I asked you out of the car. I told you you're under arrest. Now you got a whole show for your neighbors here.
Even while handcuffed, Malarkey's demeanor remains completely unchanged. The officer then detects the scent of alcohol on her breath, which could account for some of the strange conduct.
You are a shitty f***ing human being. You throw somebody down in front of their children? What the f*** is wrong with
Sit
you?
down. I told you.
You piece of shit. You know what? You are the piece of dirt that I wouldn't piss on if you were on fire.
I smell
You
an
are
odor of alcohol on your breath.
No, that's my
That's your.
I'm pissing on you.
She disobeys the officer's commands and attempts to exit the car, then deliberately targets the officer who carried out the arrest.
Phone on?
Get your f***ing hands off me.
We frequently witness scenarios like this where a suspect singles out one law enforcement officer and uses them as a scapegoat. This is usually accompanied by legal threats, as they tend to focus on the officer they believe they can most effectively build a case against. However, this strategy rarely proves very successful.
Get your f***ing hands off me.
Cool out. If you keep resisting,
Get your
charge you with that. If
You
you
know what? I'm gonna charge you with putting your f***ing dirty ass hands on me.
stop moving, let him take off your watch.
Malarkey proceeds to issue violent threats toward the officers. Notice how swiftly she attempts to shift the topic right after making her most severe threat.
No, do you know what he's done?
Stop kicking us.
I'm gonna kick you right in the f***ing head.
That's mean. Don't do that.
You are dead.
What's that?
You are getting sued.
No, what'd you say before that?
Face is
You
getting
said I am dead? What do you mean by that?
You are
Elaborate on it if you mean it.
you're getting sued.
She keeps making things hard for the officers by pretending to struggle getting out of the vehicle, even though her movements show she isn't genuinely trying. She blames the ankle restraints and claims it's the officer's fault because she supposedly tried to kick him.
No, it hurts too much. You could just take it off.
No, you're gonna kick it.
What am I? I'm a fucking 100 pounds. You think I'm gonna take a 200-pound dude?
You've already kicked at us a lot of times.
Why?
You're not gonna win.
Why? Why? Because that guy right there This,
trying to bite?
Okay, Sean, let's go.
why? Could you ask yourself a question? Why?
She faced charges of aggravated assault on an officer and aggravated DUI, this being her third DUI with a child in the car. Shortly after the arrest, she was also charged with child endangerment and bail bond violation, along with a misdemeanor for resisting or obstructing law enforcement. Suspect in our next story wasn't so fortunate. This individual's public outburst occurs on a plane preparing for takeoff. Before this footage, she had already been asked to leave multiple times because she refused to wear a mask during the pandemic.
Hello.
We're gonna take you off the aircraft.
Yep, you're gonna have to get off the aircraft,
Yeah,
okay?
and you're out there,
Yep.
and I compliment you in that way.
If she's a representative of the aircraft, they don't want you flying on their plane today, okay? So you're gonna have to get off
After
the
they made
aircraft.
us wait and wait and wait.
Yeah, that's the way it is, but right now I'm gonna
And
need
that's
you...
fine, and I will respect that.
Okay, so I'm gonna need you to grab your bag and just
And I
step
did
off
not
the
do
aircraft.
anything, actually. Disrespect.
We'll talk about it outside.
Disruptive, besides speak my mind.
Okay.
And you know what? I live in America, and that's what fucking America's about.
calm down.
No, you know
Listen
that.
to me. Grab your bag.
You know.
She's instructed to collect her bag and exit, but she responds with something genuinely odd. The suspect displays numerous unusual behaviors and appears to undergo intense mood swings. Notice how her facial expression abruptly shifts and how she rapidly goes through a broad spectrum of emotions during the interaction.
No one's gonna put their hands on you.
All right, you
Grab your
won't.
bag and
Yeah,
just step off
you
the-
won't.
Okay, but I need you to get up.
No. You
Okay?
need me to get up? You may need me to get up, but you know what I feel my need to do as a person? Just like Jesus motherfucking Christ.
You need to calm down.
No, I'm gonna do what I need to do. I'm gonna say what I need to do. And if you're gonna do whatever you feel you need to do to me, right? So I'm gonna say what I am meant to say. No, to everybody.
Stand up, man.
Everybody is
You're
doing
gonna
this.
get arrested if you do not
I'm
stop.
already gonna get arrested.
You're gonna...
The officers caution the suspect that if she refuses to comply, they'll be forced to physically intervene. Her reaction is over the top, and she clings to an alleged assurance from one of the officers that she wouldn't be taken into custody if she left the plane.
Here's what's happening. They're gonna deplane the aircraft. I'm gonna take you off the
That was
plane.
already happening. Don't do
And you're going to jail.
It won't happen if you get up and walk out with me right now.
Yeah.
But if you're not going to,
That's how it's gonna work.
Do you see how that's a threatening system?
That's the way it is, man.
Not cool.
Are you
I want to trust you. You want to trust me. That's not healing. We're not healing.
The suspect is escorted off the aircraft and taken into custody. Her response is juvenile. She weeps in an unpersuasive manner and appears to believe the situation has infringed on her human rights. Pay attention to how she explains her behavior. The way she perceives her actions is very different from reality. Still, it's unclear whether she's intentionally being dishonest or if something deeper is at play.
Okay. Come with me.
The suspect repeatedly alternates between portraying herself as a victim and expressing rage toward the officers. She appears to believe she's been personally mistreated and that one of the officers deceived her to gain her cooperation. She then accuses this officer of not wearing a mask himself.
How is anyone gonna stop anything when you lie to them?
You have your chance, man.
I had my chance. You didn't need to give me a chance. I looked at you in your eyes,
asked you
and I
10
knew you were lying to me. I saw you outside before I even came in with your mask off.
Yet again, we witness a situation where the individual being taken into custody chooses to target one specific officer as the scapegoat for everything. The suspect declines to follow instructions from that particular officer but claims they're willing to cooperate with other law enforcement personnel.
All right. Ready to step out? Are you gonna comply with everybody?
No, with you two, yes. Not with you, because you're a liar.
Near the conclusion of the arrest, she repeatedly makes comments that appear completely random, including a claim that a nurse present to assess her is romantically interested in the officer she has a problem with.
here, let me get your temperature at least.
Oh, you think he's cute? Oh, yeah, I thought he was cute, too. I looked in his eyeballs, and I thought he looked into my eyeballs, and then he abused that.
Her erratic mood and illogical responses persist all the way to the end of the footage, where she claims that her inability to relax is the fault of the police. It seems probable that there may be underlying mental health concerns involved, though without an expert evaluation, it's difficult to determine definitively.